at everything on the spread you're making. How wide can that spread be? That's a model for a hard money loan. I have a model. It's just yield driven. So I do a hard money loan, John Mark. I know that I want to make 15% net on my money. Points, fees, everything. I want to make 15% or more. That's my model. If I'm going to carry the debt, I want more than that. When I look at, and I'll plant this seed before we go to lunch, I've got a model I use for every decision that I make. So that model I showed you, I've got to triple my money to do the flip. Why? Because it optimizes for brain damage. So every financial decision in your life is just a model. All of my success was random. And I was figuring it out every time. And today, if you watched me, I make very few decisions because I built models that make the decision. Like Caitlin and I are constantly going, she'll say, we have this problem. I go, what's the model though? I don't want to make a decision one time because that's going to exhaust me. Right? Because then tomorrow there's going to be another thing about it. Right? What's the model to run a golf course? What's the model to run an apartment? So this is your rental model. Does that make sense? So what do you say yes to? What do you say no? So we're going to give you all this rental tracker. Cole, that's my second note, rental tracker. I got Cole taking my deliverables at the end so I can get everything I say that I'm going to do. So this rental tracker, everyone needs to take it. Put all of your rental, there's tons of data. It's going to take you 2 hours and you're going to cuss me the whole time when you're doing it. But at the end of it, right, we need to understand your rental portfolio because what we're going to do this afternoon is we're going to talk about what's possible. And we're going to go all your challenges too. But if you're on my rental properties, I had 130 of them. So there's this idea called return on equity. I just say it's cap rate off today's value. So this property, if we bought this property and it nets $20,000 per year, net income, what's the cap rate on this? Buying it for $200, it's a 10% cap rate. Cap rate is just capitalization. What are you making on your money? No debt. Right? Not a crazy idea. If it makes $10,000, what's the cap rate? 5%. So this deal, it really needs to net 20 so I'd have a 3% spread. It just tells you how am I doing on my debt. So I want to know, for me as it relates to rental, I got to know those models. Now when I come here, when I look at an Apple Mountain, we're targeting 20% plus returns here. But it's an active investment. In my rental portfolio, what do you think I was averaging in terms of this? So this is a 10% cap rate off purchase. Now let's assume this goes to $30,000 over 5 years. 30,000 net income.
I had to change I had 130 rental properties and I realized in my life I was climbing the wrong mountain. If you've got single family rentals and they're not cash flowing the way you want to move into commercial real estate and you don't know the steps, come join us at a one-day workshop at one of our resorts where we moved my single-family rentals, and I can show you exactly how I changed my cash flow dramatically and tripled it through commercial real estate. Go to bewealthypodcast.com, click events, and you can see where we will be at one of our resorts and show you how you can do it too.
And this becomes $400,000 in value. Now what's my cap rate? 8 or 9, right? This number divided by that number. In my portfolio, it didn't work like this though. Prices skyrocketed and these numbers went up slower. So my cap rate off today's value was 2.6% across everything. So I called Gary Keller and I asked him, I said, hey, did I miss the part of your books where we talk about taking the 4 houses and trading it in for the hotel? Because I'm experiencing it in my life. And he goes, well, you did miss the section of my book. And then, of course, only he can do, we're on Zoom, obviously, goes to his shelf, pulls out the Millionaire Real Estate Investor, had the exact page, he's like, it's right here. I was like, Gary, there's no way you're going to show me something I haven't seen in your book that I've read 25 times. I got it. No, there's 2 pages. Return on equity. And I was like, oh, and it literally shows 4 houses into a hotel. That was the annoying part. Because literally the question I'd ask was on page 176. And so the idea, we've got these great rental properties, what if there's a higher and better use? So I took my worst rentals that actually had negative return on equity based on today's value, rolled them up into this building that had an AT&T, it had a cell tower, had all these things. And I went from making almost no money to $15,000 a month in totally passive income, triple netted. I just had this awakening where what am I doing? Am I on the wrong, again, I thought I was climbing the wrong mountain. Second deal I did was a Starbucks in Canton, Georgia. Sold 5 super, super crappy rentals. And then it's a Starbucks that I forget that I own. They just pay every month, like there's nothing to do. I even have a manager, like a property manager, they pay for the management. It's like wild. And it's an 8 cap. So I was making 2% on these, 1.5 on these. The average is 2.9. So I moved in there and like it didn't just change my cash flow like a little, it like 4x'd it. So and I've had my clients of all, like a lot of my private clients, a lot of members are Be Wealthy or KW Wealthy. You're seeing like you guys are in the room, you see people making this move, and it's so awesome. We just had a guy take a crappy, I was in Cleveland, crappy 12-plex, he was never making money on it, thought he was gonna make money, nightmare, rolled into a Starbucks, and he's like, dude, this is changing my entire freaking life. Same economics. He didn't, it was 1031, they just took this thing that didn't work, and moved to this thing that did. And so for you, like this whole game, when we come back and we're gonna talk about commercial